Okay, so in our previous Python lecture, we learned how to do this loop over numbers with a range. We learned a little bit more about how we can do different processing of our variables, and the general use of Python structures for that. Now let's look at some other data structures. So I'm actually going to get rid of a lot of this on the screen. We'll just delete over it because we don't need to see this anymore. And we've already got this for loop figured out, so we don't need to see that anymore. But let's see how we can look at some other types of data. And one of the really nice features of Python is the way it lets you work with sets of data. So let's take animals, for example, and we'll make a list of strings. And right away, if I type print animals, this is an important thing to remember about Python. I'm going to probably go ahead and get rid of this print too, just for now. Let's clear and run. Notice how I can print out that whole data set. So as soon as I say print, I get dog, cat, and bird, and it's not just a string there. Python knows that dog is one value, that cat is another value, and bird is another value. And I'm going to prove that to you right now. If I come down here to print animals, I can also do print animals, and I can put in brackets a 0. Now, if you're a programmer, you already kind of know what to expect. If you're not a programmer and you haven't played with Python before, maybe think about it a little bit. What might you expect from this syntax? So where we have this bracket here, this 0, and that other bracket. And so we'll hit enter here, and we'll come back, and notice how we got just the word dog. So we still have the animals, and I can comment this out. So there's no confusion at all here. Let me comment that. We're not going to write out the whole thing anymore. We're just going to write out the animal 0. And so if I change this to 1 and write it out, what do you think is going to happen when I run it? You should be able to guess. We get cat. So animals is a collection, and we can reference them by number, like you see there. Another thing we can do is we can do this. Animals dot append horse. And let's take off our list there, so we can see the whole thing, see exactly what happens here. Oops. And notice how it appended horse to our list. Now there's a lots of different functions, and again, let's go to Google and just see how I can type in Python lists, and dictionaries come with it. And if we go here, we'll quickly find a lot of the same things that I'm doing right here. Accessing values and lists. Here's how you can see multiple ones that's across the same command. This gives us 1 through 5 out of the list. How to update the items in the list, deleting entries in the list. So this what I'm showing you is that there's lots of resources to learning Python. I'm showing you just the basics, and so I'm going to drop this part of it as far as in getting into too much syntax here. But what we can do is we can go back to our for, and so watch what we do here. We can say for animal in animals, and let's print animal. And notice there, that just like we looped through those numbers, now we were able to loop through this collection and see the whole list of them listed out as strings, just like this. So you can see the power in knowing how to do the loops, because if you had to write them all out, this would be the equivalent. I could say print animals 0 and then print animals 1 and so on, and write that out. Or you can use it like this, where I say for animal in animals, and now it's going to, for each time through that collection, put that value in there, so then it can be printed out.